June 11th, 2008 came.
Yes.
We were, many of us were told that we needed to get out of our houses by various community members or city people. How much warning did you have before you?
None.
You had no warning?
My husband had worked 12 hours that day. He came home, he was sleeping on the floor. We had kept watching the river. The water was just slowly coming up A Avenue. We moved our cars over to the Perry Center at St. Pat's. Well, he was sleeping, and I kept watching. I was going in and out, and I thought, oh, this isn't going to amount to nothing. So at 9:45, I was getting nervous, and I have seen an ambulance parked in front of where Napa is. And I went over, and I talked to the gal. And I said, ma'am, I said, when should we get out of here? She says, she got a map out. She said, oh my gosh, you should have been out hours ago.
So what time was it when you left?
It was 10 o'clock.
Oh my goodness, at night?
Yes, the water was ankle deep on 5th Street. I had my cat. I had packed my husband and I 3 changes of clothes, put our pictures up on the counter, not dreaming it was going to be 2 feet from the ceiling. Lost all of our wedding pictures. We just got married August 11th of 07. Years ago we went to school in high school, back in 67 until my temper took over. But anyway, I told him, Larry, we got to get out of here. He went to his brother's. He lives in Hawthorne Hills. I went out to my sister's on Williams Boulevard. We stayed there a month. But what really...
That's an interesting point you just made there. A lot of people didn't utilize the shelters because there's people that live in these core neighborhoods.
Yes.
Where the majority of us are pioneers of this community. So we aren't the transients that move in and live here for 10, 15 years and move on.
Right.
We're the people that are from here who feel like, you know, we have a deep connection with the city.
Yes.
And with the people in it. And so I guess what I'm curious as to why you didn't utilize the shelter. We didn't use the shelter either, but why didn't you go to the shelter?
Well, AJ, I guess I never thought about it because we had family. I guess my thinking was leave it for family that had children or had no family here in town, close.
And nobody didn't know where they could go.
Right. And I want to say about 4:30, the National Guard came by. They handed out these flyers. I wish I would have kept them. I have thrown away a lot of stuff. At one time I could remember my FEMA number, and now I'm blank. But they never told us at that time that we needed to be evacuating.
So when you left, what was it like sitting back and like maybe watching on TV? What was that like for you? Wondering what the water was doing, where it was. I mean, this is a few blocks from the river. This is behind. Isn't it behind the fire department over there?
Central Fire Station, right over here.
Okay,
yes,
so,
and it makes me sick that they can't come back.
Right, because you're back, and it's right here, a block away.
Yes.
Right? And so, how did that make you feel? How did you feel during those days and weeks that you were kept from your property?
Sad, depressed, and of course, then my mind would think about children, families. Luckily, it didn't affect our jobs. Like I said, I wrote it down here. People talk. Where was I at here? Okay, the morning of the 12th, the apartments were gone naturally.
Right.
And people lived here, left their cats behind.
Oh.
And I thought, you know what? These firemen, these National Guardsmen, they're all risking their life because you weren't smart enough. To me, that's like leaving a baby or child behind.
You know,
I love cats and dogs.
I agree. I would not have left.
And
I mean, but if you think about it, we've never really been warned, if you know what I'm saying. We've been given a couple warnings, like one by the Gazette in 1967, and then another in 2007 by FEMA via KCRG. I looked this up.
Yes.
And
I know.
They knew that there was a flood coming to the magnitude that it was, according to the past news reports.
Right. Then.
And so, what I'm, you know, I mean, this is terrible, and the animals are sad.
Yes. And it's probably scared. They don't know what's going on. You know, to be left behind.
I think they do.
And
I think animals do know.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, my cat must have gone ahead, Mitzi. But I just thought, how cruel.
Did you have Mitzi at the time of the flood?
Yes. In fact, I fell out the door, and now this doesn't want to heal. My landlord had bagged till 11 o'clock that night up to the middle of our doors.
And so that's another reason to go to the shelter, because you had an animal, and they didn't allow animals.
Yes. And, but, it just, yeah, and my insurance company, I've been with American Family 30 years.
And so you had renter's insurance.
Didn't pay a thing. Here's what I did, write some of this down. I had called Friday the 13th to the insurance company. They gave me a claim number. And the gal said, Gene, you're covered for $50,000. Well, my sister and I had made an itemized statement. We came to about $16,000, clothing, appliances, everything.
So you have to supply your own appliances.
Huh?
Do you have to supply your own appliances?
No, I meant like a mixer, a microwave. I guess I don't know if you call them. But so told my sister, and she said, Gene, that sounds too good to be true. I called, so I took off work Monday morning. They knew I was upset, and I had no vacation time left, AJ, at all. And I got this guy in Colorado, and he said, you have no coverage. He said, if we paid off every claim, he said, we'd be broke. And I said, that's fine, I understand it. I said, but you don't have to talk to me that way. So then...
So, had you paid in?
On my renter's insurance?
Yes.
Yes, it's added on every month to my car insurance. And so...
What insurance company was that?
American Family.
American Family.
Yes, on Johnson Avenue. And then... I called I was told to call the adjuster when we could get back in. And he would come out and talk with me. Well, that Saturday morning, Larry and I got down here at 8 o'clock. The adjuster had already been here. I'm jumping ahead, I think. Took pictures before we got here, and it was all just studs. My landlord was great. He dried them out. He got great big fans and had them in each apartment. And he says, are you Gene Balvin? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, well, I can't remember his name. He says, I guess I've gotten everything I need here. He said, thank you. I said, well, I'm sorry I wasted your time and mine. And if I'd have thought afterwards, I would have had my landlord not allowed him on the property.
What was the problem with the adjuster?
He come out to see what the damage was. I said, well, it's nice to come out and see after it's been gutted. But we didn't have clearance until Thursday, June 19th.
So your landlord was able to get in and left the apartments before? As
we were cleaning them out the 19th, yes.
On the 19th is when you were able to get back in. So
yes.
You left on the 11th, you came back on the 19th. That's
yes.
9 days.
Yes. And, yeah, it made me sick. I don't know what to expect. Horse refrigerator. I guess everybody's refrigerator with the compressor turned sideways. Yeah. We couldn't save any clothes. I did save one pair of shorts and the bathing suit.
So how high? It would have been up 2 feet in here?
Yep.
This room would have been filled with water.
I got in the cupboard and I said, Larry, I said, you know what? The dishes don't look bad. Well, I pulled down a bowl, had flood water all over me. Measuring cup had exactly a cup of water in it. And no, we couldn't save anything. So everything is new. And you can see where there's flaws. When I moved in here, I've been here 9 years, the 25th of August, and my rent started at $345, and now I pay $435 in lights. And then, of course, my husband's got to deal with MediaCom with the computer, and and cable and phone. But when I called the adjuster's number, and I left him a message. I said, we can get on the property tomorrow morning.
Right.
Well, he never called me back, so I called my agent over there.
Were you aware that FEMA's broke?
I've read that.
Were you aware that they're the only ones that ever offer flood insurance to high-risk areas?
Once in a while I get a letter. In fact, I fired one back to him. My husband said, Gene, you probably shouldn't have done that. I said, you know what, I don't give a shit. I just typed back. I said, they gave us,
What did they send you a letter for?
To buy flood insurance. I did have it for a year, 2 years ago, and I thought, you know what, this is foolish. $200 and some. I don't make much at my job. That's why I work a weekend job.
It's not your house, but it is your content.
Right.
And that's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah.
But you didn't get paid
off
for the responsible thing you did 3 years ago.
And right away, that Monday, which would have been what, the 16th, my sister and I got online to FEMA. I tried on the phone. Well, I bet they sent me back 3 letters telling me my name did not match my Social Security number. Well, when we got married, August 11th of 07, I changed everything right away. My Social Security card, my driver's license, you know, all my important documents I needed changed.
Imagine the money the government makes off of that.
Yeah. So I sent them copy after copy of my marriage license. I went out to Westdale. They made copies of pictures. I made copies of pictures, and they still weren't good enough. Well, in August, they ended up sending me a check for $962 for rental assistance.
Really?
I appealed it. I said I didn't ask for rental assistance. I asked for a little bit of help replacing our furniture when we to live somewhere, get back in.
Were you able to get a FEMA trailer?
No, they wouldn't give us that either.
Yeah, you couldn't get one either.
Well, you know what, all the problems they have with it, I don't think I wanted it.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, we'd have been sick.
Exactly.
You know, and the people upstairs, some of them are gone, they got anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 from FEMA. The gal that was just here, she lives up here in South 6. I don't know.
Did you get anything from FEMA then?
$962.
For rentals.
Yeah. So we did go out there. The Red Cross gave me $350 to go buy tubs, them Rubbermaid tubs. I said, what am I going to put in them? I have nothing. Think about it, lady. You know, yeah, sometimes I can be nasty, you know.
Well,
but sometimes there's no way you get across to some people because they're so stupid, you know. They don't realize what's happening. And I think we got $360 in food stamps. And then we did go out when the Buddha group was here.
Oh, they were great.
They were. And my neighbor gal that just came to the door, she was out there and got a $500 gift card and one of them blankets. My blanket's in the closet. The $500 pretty much paid for our couch, which I hate now. I hate the color because it shows the dirt and I shampoo it all the time. So is this chair. He got this at a second-hand store like new, but I hate this color. I want something dark. But anyway, so that money, I'd say, pretty much paid for our couch at Animals Furniture Mart. Both ends reclined, and they delivered it. And I've been so maxed out with credit cards after the flood and so is my husband. Thank God both our jobs are good to us. But
where do you work?
It's a place called Little Drugstore Products. Here, I can kind of show you what I do. I brought some home. Number one, because I take them for migraines. If you take them, I'll give you a few of them. They're in a box, and they hang at the checkout.
The little, like the boards?
They used to do the boards.
Okay, my aunt used to do those.
Really?
Yeah.
What was her name?
Connie Phillips.
Oh, see, I don't know. The first time I worked there was in '96, and then I went back in '98, and I've been there 13 years as of 31st July. But yeah, I take them for my headaches. In fact, I took one last night after I got off in between being on the computer. But, you know, like I said, FEMA, to me, gave money to all the wrong people. I mean, the people upstairs, maybe that guy up there, he's gone traveling. And we've been taking care of his hat. The only thing he lost was a goddamn 12-pack of beer. I'm sorry.
Oh, really? So he was...
He claimed
it didn't even affect him, so...
No, it was 2 feet below the balcony. And, yeah, it was... So anyway, going back to my insurance agent, I called him and I said, I have not heard from the adjuster. And his words to me were, well, Gene, what do you want me to do about it? And I don't know if you want me to give my reply or not.
That's up to you. I mean,
I said, you know what, Dave, I guess not a fucking thing, and I hung up on him. So then an hour later he called me and said, the adjuster will be there tomorrow morning, Gene, at 8 o'clock. And I said, okay, and I'm just so sick over it, you know, and that goddamn FEMA, you know. And I told them too, I had so many people, you know, AJ, I never met a FEMA agent in person until the 1st of August, right out here in this dirt and stuff on one of the tables. And they come took pictures. I thought, well, isn't this a fine time? Here we are, we're studs again. And he had started to rebuild. But yeah, it's.
So when were you able to get back in?
It'll be 3 years Labor Day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we lived out of a, we lived out of a cooler for a few days. And thank God for microwaves.
Yeah.
Because at the time, the neighbors that lived next door, he did the carpenter work. Well, he made the counters too long. The stoves don't fit in 8 of these apartments. And, yeah, there's quite an article in the paper on him, too. I should find it. Under they're broke. They gave it to people that didn't lose it. Just like that Buddha group. Yes, they were great people. And my driver's license even has apartment 1 on it. So they knew I lived on a lower.
Well, you know, I think they were just trying to help people.
Yeah, exactly.
And people were they were struggling. They were
yes.
out of a house.
Yes.
Out of a home. You know, they did have to have a place to live, and the cards didn't buy anything, but...
Yeah, but I just...
And gas is $5 a gallon or almost.
Yes, and at the time,
I'll never forget that.
I know it. And our landlord had a vacant apartment in Coggin, and the old guy had passed away. I said, not in the apartment. He said, no, Gene. And but he said the apartment hasn't been cleaned out. So the 4th of July, I'd had enough of my sister. My work had helped me out. Larry's job, he had 10 people down there, employees, that had lost everything besides him. And there was 2 people at my job. One gal had just retired in March, but she'd been there 25 years. They gave her money, and, I got $1,853, and that was in 2 payments. The morning I got back, I talked to my boss. I was just sick, and he said, Gene, come in the office. He said, we've got something for you. And he handed me an envelope, and it was $1,000. Well, then in the meantime, a lot of the guys were traveling. So about 2 weeks later, the other accountant called me in and handed me an envelope. And when I got home, I counted it was $853. And
in-kind donation.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And it was great.
And that's the way things should work.
Yes.
In a realistic world, in my opinion. Because you can't count on tax money to take care of everything if things go bad.
No.
I mean, you just can't do it.
No.
In a realistic world.
No, I know.
People need to take care of people, not
right.
government taking care of people. Because that just, it takes the recovery out of it.
Yes.
Really.
And
I think that if we would not have had FEMA here,
yeah.
sure, there would have been a little bit of, difference. And
yeah.
There wouldn't have been any money, but we would have all been in our houses, mucking and gutting, and putting them back together.
And probably still at it.
There would be neighborhoods.
Yes. I know, it's so sad to drive down Ellis Boulevard and be able to look clear over to the river. I mean, nobody expected it.
And you and like when you look out the door and the river is at eye level and you're sitting on the couch. That's it.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Yeah. Now, were you guys able to save anything at all?
We put a lot of things upstairs, but we didn't put it up high enough on the first floor. It wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
But the refrigerator kind of blocked. The rest of the house wasn't as bad as the kitchen. But the bathroom was pretty bad. It's kind of daunting, like you can see how high it was. And,
yeah, I know it. It just, I don't know. Yeah, I just get bitter when I think about the money people got that didn't lose nothing. And then, like I said, I had a couple of them tell me, Gene, you need to get over it. I said, you know what? You don't ever get over it. I will take it to my grave. And so will many of others.